In today's video, I'm going to be walking y'all through my entire retouching process from start to finish using this photo right here. So jumping straight into this, what I usually like to do is come in here and fix up anything wrong with the photo as far as the lighting and whatnot. But right here, as you can see, there's not really much that we have to do. I mean, maybe I can turn the highlights down a little bit because the white part of her blazer is actually too bright. So we're gonna lower the highlights down. Let me see if maybe I could bring up the exposure just a little bit. Bring up the contrast, bring the whites up a little bit. And you can see by making those small adjustments, we can still see her, like she's still very bright, but it lowered, you know, the brightness on her blazer and the backdrop right here. So if I hold the eye, you see this is before and then this is after. I think it looks pretty good. Now moving on, there's really not much that we have to do here in camera raw. I think the photo looks good as is. Usually I will come in here and do some masking. I would do, you know, fix the color grading, effects, all that good stuff, but it looks good how it is. Let's go ahead and click OK and upload this to Photoshop. Now what we want to do here is start cleaning up the photo. Now you see over here on the left side, you know, you got this open space right here where the backdrop wasn't covering, so we definitely want to fix that up. We can start with that actually. Let me go over here to the quick selection tool right here. We're gonna go up here to this drop down, go to cloud. This is gonna give us a detailed cutout of our subject. After that, just go ahead and click select subject. Now we have the subject selected right now, but I want to invert this so that it gets the backdrop. So I'm gonna right click and I'm gonna do select inverse, and then I'm gonna go to my rectangular marquee tool. I'm gonna remove all of this right here so that she's not being, you know, included in this new generation. And then I'm gonna also remove some of this down here. I'm also gonna remove some of this right here. So now we have everything selected outside of her and this, you know, middle space, this backdrop. So it's gonna remove or generate, you know, these white edges right here, and then this open space where the backdrop wasn't covering. So if I just right click, go to generative fill, it should just fix all of that up for me. All right, so that did a pretty decent job. I'm gonna merge these together, and I think I'm gonna actually move her over to the left a little bit so that she's like more center, because I think she's kind of like more off to the right, and the perspective, the composition isn't really that good. So I'm gonna move this more towards the center, and I think she's very balanced there. She's in the middle of the frame now. So I'm gonna make another selection over here using the rectangular marquee tool and just get rid of this white square right here. Okay, now that all of that is said and done, we fix up the backdrop. Let's go ahead and start fixing up the photo. Let's start cleaning it up. So anything in the photo that, you know, looks off, like these scratches in the chair, it's a wooden chair and it got some scratches on the paint, so we can just go ahead and use the patch tool right here, right, and just make a selection over it and then just drag it to a clean spot. Now this doesn't have to be perfect, you just really want it to not have so many like obvious spots, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like a lot of people would neglect something like this because it's too tedious and they don't have the patience to do it. But I feel like these little things, they matter to me at least. I wouldn't think that I did a good job if I left something like this. And I think this is like bare minimum. Like if someone's paying you to do photos, they're looking for clean, professional photos. You know, they're looking for you to spend a little extra time, even if they don't understand like the value of what it is that you're doing. You know, because I feel like a lot of people, they'll look at photographers and they'll be like, oh, you charging this insane price for some photos. They don't really understand what goes into it. But in their minds, they know that they want a good product. And the best way to get people to understand your value is by going the extra mile and doing like little stuff like that. Because like I said, a lot of people aren't going to look at the small details of things. So if you're going the extra mile and doing it yourself, then you're probably going to become their go-to person. And whatever prices or whatever it is that you're offering or charging, they'll be more accustomed to it and they'll understand like, oh shit, like now I know why he's charging this price. Like right now I'm trying to get rid of all of these little wrinkles. I'm not trying to do like the most perfect job. Like I don't believe in perfection. I'm not going to get every little wrinkle out, but I'm definitely going to try to do my best. Now moving on to her skin, we're just going to go ahead and do the same thing that we did with the backdrop, the chair, and her clothes, right? You just grab a selection. I'm just trying to grab any like really pixelated areas, because like as this photo is a little bit further, you know, we're not going to be able to see all of the little textures, details, maybe any scratches, any acne, blemishes, or anything like that. We're not going to be able to see all of those. Actually, they convert to all of these little small pixels that you see right here. And in the final product, if you don't get rid of these, they're going to show up. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make sure I have most of them cleaned up and, you know, out of there. I already delivered these photos to the client and she told me how much she absolutely loves them. And really, honestly, you know, I hate to say it like this, but it's the God honest truth. I don't care about what anybody thinks about my photos if I don't like them. You know, I could work on a session for like all day. Like I could work on a session all week. And let's say if at the end of me working on that session for that entire week, I don't like the photos, I'll tell them like, yo, like I've worked on these photos, but if I'm being honest, I don't really like how they came out and I'm not going to deliver them to you. And they like sending them to the client, they may like the photos and they may be like, oh, like, you know what I mean? They gonna tell you what they want you to hear, but I don't care about what the client, I don't care, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like I want to be happy with my product. And for anybody who's thinking like, oh, like if they like the photos, then that's all that matters. I don't believe that, man. Like, no, because your work is a reflection of you. And like I said earlier, I don't believe in perfection, but I think you can get close to it. I think you can do your best, you know, and always do a little bit better than what you were doing before. All right, I know I'm yapping. Let's go ahead and finish up with this edit. So right now I'm going to use the clone stamp tool. I'm going to copy. I think I want to, let me see, because I have a selection somewhere, but let me grab the clone stamp tool. I think I want to flatten this out right here, maybe, because I feel like that collar was popped right there and I just want to fix it. And she also told me that she wanted her hair fixed up over here, so let's fix that up also. I'm just holding Alt right now and I'm making a selection over here. I'm gonna left click over here and it's gonna copy from that area where you see that cross at. Is basically just like copying from that area and just pasting it. Oh shit. Okay, I think that looks pretty fire. Now we can move on to the next step, which is frequency separation. All right, so I'm gonna go up here, I'm gonna click on my little action right here. I'm gonna click play. I'm gonna hide these two top layers for now. I'm gonna go down to the frequency separation layers. I'm gonna hold Alt and click on this eyeball right here. We're gonna work on this one for now. Go over here to the frequency or the mixer brush tool, and then we can zoom in and start smoothing the skin. I feel like I've explained this method so many times. If you're a returning viewer, you know how this works. But for the ones who don't know how this works, what I'm doing right now is basically just smoothing out any discoloration, really just blending highlights and shadows, just giving it a much more polished and smooth look. And we can go over her clothes right here just to kind of get some of those wrinkles out also. I can get all of these wrinkles out of the ground. All right, I think that looks fire. Now what I want to do here is I want to try to bring out more highlights in her face. I'm going to copy these layers, copy all of these, and I'm going to duplicate them on top of that group. And then I'm going to merge them together. And then I'm going to go up here to adjustments. I'm going to go to selective color. I'm going to go to whites. And I'm gonna drag this point down. I really just want to bring out those highlights in her skin though. Actually, let's go back down to this layer. We're gonna rename this actually to subject layer. And then I'm gonna go back over here to my quick selection tool, click on this drop down, click select subject, and then I'm gonna copy and paste that so that we have a PNG like this. And then I'm gonna make a clipping mask on this so that this selective color layer is only affecting this PNG. It makes her jacket brighter, which is what I don't want. That's what we tried to fix earlier. So going back to the selective color layer, I'm just gonna grab the eraser tool and remove all of that highlight that's on her jacket. Because really what I'm trying to go for, I'll show you here in a second, really what I'm trying to go for is just to kind of get these highlights out in her face a little bit more. Now these two top layers right here, the skin glow and the curves layer, we're gonna remove these because those were included with the action that I put in earlier. But we're gonna add another curves layer, right? And I think I'm gonna drop the exposure. No, I'm actually gonna leave the exposure. I'm gonna drop the contrast a little bit. I'm gonna raise the blacks just to kind of give this like a faded type situation going on. And then I'm gonna raise maybe the highlights Actually, no, I'm gonna lower it down. I like how this looks. Now, because we added more contrast, we dropped the contrast on the curves layers. It made our subject look a lot more red. So I'm gonna go up here to adjustments. I'm gonna go to hue saturation, and then I'm gonna lower the red dial just to kind of give this more of a brown skin tone than a red. I'm honestly not liking how I left this hair right here, so let me fix that up real quick. I think I'm gonna go to this new layer, this layer 1, this PNG of her, and then I'm gonna go back to the clone stamp tool, just copy a part of her hair, and then just go over that area. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. I'm not gonna play with that too much. Now, one thing that I'm kind of like seeing in my mind is like, what if her jewelry was kind of like glowing a little bit? You know what I mean? Like, she's looking down at her hands. What if there was like some subtle shine or glow to her, you know, jewelry? So let's try to do that right quick. I'm gonna add an empty layer. I'm gonna change the blending option to overlay. I'm gonna go over here to the brush tool, make sure that the color picker is on white. We want to make sure that our flow is at 100%, and then I'm gonna go in and start adding color to her bracelet. I'm gonna do this for all of her jewelry. Now, I think if I double left click on this layer and go to blending options right here and just drag this up, it's gonna remove anything off the dark spots and the dark spots and leave it on the highlight spots. So, oh yeah, that's doing, yep, perfect. So we can still see that highlight on her jewelry. It's just not on her skin or anything like how you saw before. And actually what I want to do here now to kind of give it that like glowy effect, let's go to her jewelry right here, her necklace. I'm gonna go up here to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and it's kind of gonna give it that like subtle glow. Okay, actually I have one better. I know I just told y'all that entire thing just for me to not stick to it, but that's a part of the process. You know what I mean? That's a part of the process. You gotta try something. If it doesn't work, let's try something else. I think I have a better idea. So let's go actually to subject layer, and let's go up here to select. Let's go to color range, and then let's go to highlights right here. Make sure that this is on highlights, and then I'm gonna click OK, and then we're gonna copy and paste that. This is gonna give us all the highlights that are on the photo. We're gonna drag this all the way up here, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to filter, we're gonna go to blur, Gaussian blur. This is the method right here, man. Yes, this is what I want. This is exactly what I was thinking. Now I can play with this to get it to how I want it to look. I like this, so let's keep that. It kind of like, it added like this glow to the background that kind of like overlaps with, you know, her hair and her, so that it makes this look a little bit more dreamy and faded. Now it kind of went over the jacket. I don't know, man. I kind of like it. I ain't gonna lie, I kind of like it. Okay, the last and final thing I think I'm gonna do is add one last layer. I'm gonna make a selection over the entire photo using the rectangular marquee tool. I'm gonna right click, go to fill, change this to 50% gray, click OK. We want to make sure that this is transparent, so let's make sure that this is on overlay, the blending option, and then I'm gonna go up here to filter. We're gonna go to noise, add noise, and I want to just add such a subtle noise just to kind of give this more of like a grainy vintage effect type situation. Let's actually clean this up a little bit more using the patch tool. And guys, that really is all that there is to it. If you enjoyed this transformation video, hit the like button, subscribe, and let me know in the comment section if you would like to see a series on this kind of content, because that's what I was thinking. Like maybe once a week I could do like a little series. Like this would be the first one, and then I could do a second one. Just really thinking of stuff here. Go follow me on Instagram if you want to see more tips and tutorials from me. I try to post weekly, but that's all I got for y'all today. I'll see y'all in the next video.